Welcome to Straight Up with Steve and Stevona. I'm Steve Hernandez.
And I'm Stevona Delgado.
Ooh, thank you, subscribers. Climbing. I think we picked up 3. We're up to 84. Can you believe it, though? Just 16 more. So I think those of you who are listening, I think you've done your... no, you motherfuckers, because we get almost 200 views on YouTube. I don't even know how many more we're getting on...
They're hate watching. I know it because I do that.
They can't be hate. We're too good. You can only hate watching when something's bad.
And we're too nice, too.
No.
You're not, yeah.
And you're not that nice either.
I am, though. That's what I was thinking about the other day. Like, I need more haters. Did you see my story? And then I got a hater.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah. What was that all about?
Like, I just realized, like, everybody likes me. And do they like me because I'm not a threat or what? They don't think I'm going nowhere?
I just don't think everybody likes you. That's a crazy
but they
thing.
do. You should see the way they treat me. They do. That's why I was like, I'm not doing something right. Like... You know, they like me because they don't see me as a threat. They don't see me surpassing them. So I need to get some haters in the club.
I just don't think that's where haters come from.
I thought haters are because they're like jealous of you because you're doing better than them.
I think haters come from a lot of different things. I do have haters. If you're listening, I know you're watching. I know where my haters
subscribe.
Come from. Yeah, watch, hate, subscribe. How about that? I think my stand-up career has been greatly hurt by running the Chatterbox Comedy Night or helping to run it because I have what's called integrity. And in this world, nobody values that anymore. Everyone just wants to win. I've had a guy for years who was always asking me, Steve, let's get together. Let's do this comedy stuff. Let's start making real money. And I just like, nope.
Yeah, the men try to tell me that too.
Yeah, these men they actually try to take me under their wing. Can you believe it?
It's disgusting.
Yeah. But I go, no.
Whole time they ain't even flying. They're so annoying. But yeah, I just was like, dang, I got to get some haters. And then after I said that, I had a Trump supporter like DM me.
So you took a picture of this person?
What? No, I FaceTimed them.
You FaceTimed your hater?
I FaceTime everybody that tries to DM me hate because I just want to see if they answer. And 99.9% of the time, they don't answer.
But this one did.
No, that was back in 2023. I've been take social
really
media
funny.
away from me. I'd be like, do you know who the girl who says, catch me outside? How about that?
Of course. What's her name?
Of course, but you don't know her name. Bad Baby.
Yeah,
Danielle
Bad Baby,
Bergoli.
yeah.
Her baby daddy, me and her baby daddy be arguing through DM too. He'll answer back to you if you talk to him.
Man, it is very hard for me as an OnlyFans guy. It's been very hard to not subscribe to her OnlyFans.
No, please don't.
I just don't think it'll be worth it.
I feel so bad for like all the people who come and watch the podcast because of me and they're like my fans because then they get like introduced to you. And I feel like if they don't know you specifically, like they don't know you in person, they're just thinking like, oh my gosh, why is she teaming up with this creepy ass man? Like,
because this podcast would not exist without me. That's why.
It's really true. It's really true. It's honestly true. I just show up.
And nobody calls me an old man except for you, so keep your fucking mouth shut. Nobody knows how old I am.
You're my special old man friend.
Yeah. Everyone thinks I'm like 35, which is fine. You remember, she's 30, so it's fine.
Yeah, but you guys, I'm okay. Those of you who are worried about me, I'm okay with him. Don't worry.
You guys, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm not ashamed that I fucking like OnlyFans. All of you guys are watching free pornography, exploiting people. It's not my fault that I want to support the sex workers that I like. I give them money.
Yeah, I guess.
Instead of being fucking creeps like them and just looking at stolen content.
It's the other girl's fault.
Other girls? What are you even talking about?
It's their fault they got stolen.
It's these people's fault that guys steal their stuff?
Yes.
Why?
Because you should know they're going to do that. It comes with the job. I know people are going to literally screenshot and share it around. It's inevitable. Let's not act like they don't think about that before they go into the game.
Yeah,
they know.
But that's not the girl's fault.
I mean, look,
it's part of the game.
They should know that there's losers, broke men out there, and those are normally the ones that are addicted to porn.
They're not broke men. They're people that hate women. They hate women, and they like to see them exploited.
I mean, but that's why you can't really like get mad at them, right? Or like you can't do anything back, can you? Or maybe you could sue them. Can you sue them?
You can't really do anything back because of the way the system's set up, but that doesn't mean it's their fault or they should feel cool about it.
It's not their fault, but they should know. I'm just saying, if I was an OnlyFans girl, I'd be like, these loser men, of course they would. Of course they would take shit for free, of course.
But luckily, there's a lot of good men like me that actually pay for the. So, that's cool. And you should pay for. Do you watch?
Please don't do it. No.
You don't masturbate, right?
Like once in a blue moon.
This woman, I have never said this on the pod, but I believe in my heart that Stevona has never had an orgasm. And I don't say this willy-nilly. I've thought about it in the head, and a lot of the conversation we've had offside of the podcast, at one point Stevona said that she thinks the sex is better with a guy if he's tall. That is one of my first clues that she doesn't understand.
I'm just using context clues. But also, I've never really been with a short guy. Only one in the past, but...
And I remember years ago, I think this is where I even got this from when I first met you. At some point, we were talking about it at the bar, and no, it wasn't you. It's just I do think of you a lot. You know, as a bartender, there's a lot of young Mexican girls that come in here. We always end up talking about sex and dating and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that wasn't me.
And I remember a girl, and I've heard this so many times. They go, "Oh no, I don't matter if I want to have like I'll just have sex with a guy." And anybody who knows men who had sex with men, you know that they rarely make you come. And these are just clues. Now, we'll see as the podcast unravels and we start the Patreon. That's when we'll really get into this stuff.
There's one guy in my past life that made me, I can say confidently.
Just one guy.
Yeah, but also I never really had that many boyfriends. I mean, I did have boyfriends, but the thing, I was with them for long periods of time.
Yeah, and you know, for a lot of women, that is the thing. That is, they have to be very comfortable and feel very safe for that to happen.
Yeah, and I think I've only felt like that with one man in the past. So I could confidently say that, but yeah.
And you know what? Daniel Cabral, if you're listening, she misses you.
Stop, Daniel Cabral. I feel so bad for you, Daniel. I'm so sorry you're getting dragged into this.
She said she thought of you like a brother.
He's really rooting for us right now.
I think actually you guys would be a great couple. I do feel like you guys are not attracted to each other, though.
No, we see each other as brother and sister.
Yeah.
And he's such a dog. He is such a dog.
You think he's a dog?
He's such a dog, yes. I've heard things about Daniel Cabral.
No. I'm not going to. Daniel, we got to get you on the show, Daniel.
Yeah, we need Daniel Cabral on the show.
Red Lobster unleashed its new menu. Have you heard about this 35-year-old CEO?
No.
Have you heard about this, Greg? He's a young black guy. He's awesome. And he's Red Lobster, famously went into bankruptcy last year from their endless all-you-can-eat shrimp deal. Absolutely plummeted Red Lobster in bankruptcy. That's not really what happened. It's really too wonky for me to get into for this podcast about what really happened. But the all-you-can-eat shrimp did do them in pretty hard. They got this new CEO, 35-year-old black guy.
Yes, we love successful black men.
Yes, and he's introduced seafood bags like you get at the crab place.
Yeah.
So he's introduced these things, and he's introduced $5 drinks. I mean, Red Lobster is back, baby.
I've never been.
You know, I've never been?
I've never been.
I've never been.
I go to Golden Corral. That's where I took my dad for his last birthday when he was alive.
God,
I think that's what killed him.
Can you imagine your last meal with your daughter at Golden Corral?
I thought I was doing something.
I feel bad.
I worked at the pizza shop.
No. I feel so bad for people and Americans. Just I guess because I see Americans. Look, there's been no debate about this. I'm addicted to food. I'm a fat guy, but it's so I see like Costco. Everyone's fat. I see Costco. They go to this thing and then they're like, I'm gonna reward myself with this $1.50 hot dog.
That's me all the time.
You're just not fat yet.
No, yet.
I know. As long
don't wish that on me.
Hey, as long as you keep up your routine, as long as you keep slamming eggs.
That is important to me. That is important to me.
Yeah, but being in love, you'll put on weight.
That's why you don't fall in love, ladies.
Listen, she had a couple of brief trysts, but I don't think she's gonna. To me, I feel this force field around Stevona right now, where she wants complete success.
Mm-hmm.
She's ambition. She's going for it. Mm-hmm. She's gonna help take this podcast to the top. As long as you subscribe.
Yes, yeah. And men, leave me the fuck alone. For real, like leave me the fuck alone.
You have to keep up your shields, though.
I know. What do I say though? Like leave me alone, or just like not interested.
Yeah,
or
say I'm not interested. Say that I'm not really thinking that way at this point in life.
Because I do feel like I just want to really just focus on for real, like my career and getting to where I need to be. I feel like with podcasts and stuff like that, I've really been like moving forward this year. I'm headlining in Palm Springs
Hey,
tomorrow.
that's awesome. Yeah, I saw that.
Yes, headlining with Palm Springs on the Alfred Robles show. So I just feel like things are really like elevating for me, and I don't want to lose focus. Because like what you said, like when you're in love, you just want to be together all the time, and I don't want to do that. I know myself, and I will throw it all away for a man.
Well, the thing is, too, you know, you want to level up. And you deserve like a leveled up man, but you got to get there first.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because every time, like, normally, by the way, guys, entertainment purposes, like, normally in my past when I went for men, it's like they didn't really have, not that I want to take anything, but they didn't really have anything that was, like, beneficial for my life that also kind of, like, helped me, like, kind of like elevate. It was like we were always just struggling together. You know?
Yeah, well, even material stuff aside, even to be inspired by the person artistically would be cool, right?
Yeah, artistically, it's just that normally the artistic guys are the ones that are always broke too. So it's like, like if I need gas in my car to get somewhere, like they probably can't even shoot me like $50, or if they do, I gotta pay my boyfriend back. What kind of shit is that?
Damn, that's rough having to pay your boyfriend back.
Yeah.
Have you seen on Venmo?
Or even just like having a guy that has a car, a freaking working car is like, that's, and like no shade, because I'm not saying men who don't have cars are broke. Of course. But like I'm going to be driving us around with the am I a bitch?
This is the Baldwin Park La Puente lifestyle, by the way. Is you just want a man with a car, a working car, and a job, just a decent job that could pay for dinner, that could give your girl $40 for gas sometimes,
Yes, and I'm not talking about anybody specific. That I have to clarify a few things now. Yeah. Our freaking little, we did a cute little video on how I found out that my ex-boyfriend was doing some grimy shit to me. I prayed to God for him to let me see his phone. He got punched in the face. I grabbed the phone. It was still unlocked. It was a great time. Proves that God is real. But I had to like go on my story and clarify that it wasn't one of my ex-boyfriends, because my ex-boyfriend was like, people are going to hate me because they're going to think this is me. And I had to go on my story and I'm like, this is not this person. And people were like, oh, I thought you were talking about him.
It's not anybody that you know.
It's nobody.
It's never you. Stop taking it. And you know what? I'll go as far as to say this. If you've subscribed to the pod, stop watching the podcast. This is bad news. You don't want to see your ex-girlfriend. If your ex-girlfriend is Stevona, you don't want to hear her talk about this stuff. It's just going to hurt you. You're going to end up DMing her. She's going to she's going to FaceTime you back.
It's so, though, I think about it and I'm like, oh my gosh, because I did tell that story. When I told that story on my Instagram story after I had posted it, and then I kept getting calls from blocked numbers. I'm like, it's him. It's this guy, because that guy was crazy. Like, he showed up to one of my open mics.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, is that I get a random message from him, from a friend of his one day saying, hey, call him. He wants to talk to you. He just got in a car accident. Sends a picture of this man in the hospital laying on the bed like that. So I call my mom, and my mom's like, you got to call him. Like, you don't know what's going on. Like, just see if he's okay.
Wait, why'd you call your mom?
Because I'm like, what do I do? Because I was like, do I just let this man die?
His last wish is to talk to Stevona.
And I deny it. And I needed someone to back me up, but no, my mom always wants to be the fucking sweet person. And I freaking regretted it, because we got in contact again.
Was that a picture of him in the hospital?
Yes, but it was from months ago.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, guys are fucking crazy.
Very crazy, like, and I'm like, oh, come on. Like, if he was cuter, I probably would have took him back, but he wasn't even cute and like wasn't that tall. So I'm like, over it. The love goggles were off.
You hear that? Not cute, guys. You got a chance.
Not anymore. He ruined it for y'all. Even the ugly ones will do you wrong.
God, guys are so awful. And I'm not a great guy, okay?
And it'd be like one day they're into you, the next day they're not. Like, it's like sometimes like these men are pursuing the girls, or like in my past, like I had men pursue me, and then I come back like, okay, I'm interested, and then the next day they're not interested anymore, and it's like I'm confused. Like, this is why I don't want nothing to do with them no more, because I'm like, you're not being straight.
I would not want to be a woman for nothing. It sounds terrible.
Yeah, it is.
Except you do get female friendships. Women friendships are the best thing in the world. You guys are always hugging each other, sleeping with each other. Like, you could cuddle.
Sometimes they pay for you to eat. Sometimes they have gas money for you. Like Daisy puts me in my soft girl era. I can just relax when I'm with Daisy, you know? She drives the car. If I don't have money, she'll buy us something to eat. Like, she always got weed to share. Like, that's my boyfriend right there.
Great job, Daisy. Thank you for taking care of our girl. Dude, the open mic on Tuesday, Owen Parker, man, had this series of jokes about killing his mom. And I will say Owen Parker is getting funny. I can tell he works hard. He's trying to write jokes. But after he kept calling back to him murdering his mom. I just got up afterwards and I
That's
said,
what white people do, though. They murder their moms. You know that.
There was a very strong Eminem vibes. I'm not going to lie. But I got up after and I said, hey, guys, as an exercise, why don't you try to write a joke that makes a woman laugh? Try to just do that. I don't know what these guys are. Everything I do is to get women. I don't know what these guys are thinking. I love stand-up, too. I love to be funny.
Just know they're not going to get a woman, so they're just like, fuck it, let it rip.
I mean, is that... You know what? You might be right.
Like, they just gave up.
From the mouths of babes, they might have just like... You're right. Like, it'll be like a crazy accident if they do get a woman. Maybe that's... Wow. Incredible.
They just gotta wait till they make it. They just gonna say all the stupid shit they can until they make it to the top, and then they don't have to, like, you know, actually try. But even like the male comedians that come up and then they will like make a comment about a girl in the crowd is like also cringe. Like, that's not funny.
It's
like,
disgusting.
Like, come on. Like, that's not. There's so many times I've been at different shows where like men will even like, or even to like Sylvia, like, you know, obviously because she's a bigger girl, like, it's no shade to the black community because we love the black community, but it's always a black guy that follows after her that's like, I'll take that shit, I'll eat that shit down. Like, it's uncomfortable.
And I know that stuff happens
it's
too.
It's fucking uncomfortable.
And
like,
I've seen it happen with mostly black guys. That's why this isn't racist, okay? This isn't all black guy stuff, but it's going to be, if they're talking about Sylvia.
Yeah, it's most likely a black guy, yeah.
I'll rock that.
Yeah, like, oh my goodness, come on now, come on.
That's another thing, fellas, male comedians, if you're out there, don't talk about any women in the room. You shouldn't talk about any women's bodies like that, whatever. But if you can make it funny and it's I don't know, do your thing. I'm not trying to put rules on you.
Yeah.
But if there's a woman in the room, don't make fucking women uncomfortable. You crazy.
There was a time, a really beautiful time in Chatterbox where I was like, oh my gosh, this is my community. Like, I got a little teary-eyed, and it's because I was hosting, and then I remember, I don't know who it was that started it off, but someone made like a dead dad joke. And normally those don't like hit, but in Chatterbox it kind of hit. And then one after another, like every comedian who had a dead dad was like shouting out their dead dad, or they're like, who else has dead dads? And there was one point in time where the entire room was chanting dead dads, dead dads, dead dads all together. And I was like, I found my people. Like, that was just so beautiful.
Chatterbox Comedy Night every Sunday night at 8. The open mic set of the night Tuesdays at 8. I host that one. That's more of a true open mic, but you get it hosted by me. It's incredible to watch.
Let's host that one together next Tuesday.
They're actually.
You got Sylvia and Gigi. Huh?
Sylvia and Gigi are hosting next Tuesday. I'm going to a polyamory meetup.
Yay.
Well, that just means it's just a group of people. I need more polyamorous friends, because if I were to tell you the problems that come up in polyamory, all regular people do is like, all they think is like, that's what you get.
Yeah, that is what I think. I'm like, ha.
Yeah, it's so funny. Everyone's always gunning for it to go wrong, as if like monogamous relationships don't go wrong all the time. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to a polyamorous meetup with Julia, so we could have poly friends, so that people could talk about our stuff, they could relate to us. And so I asked the girls to cover, and they were very nice.
Yeah, because you said Julia is turning poly now too, right? Because it was just you on her side.
She has gone on a date now.
I'm not gonna lie, that was a little like liberating. Is that the word? Is that the correct word?
Well,
it was a little like, I get really I feel very empowered when I see the girl partake in it. Like, yeah, you fuck a man too, bitch. You fucking fuck some men. Fuck that guy.
And that's
get a new dick in you.
That's part of the reason why I am glad that she did it, to get all these women off my back. Because I know when the guy just does, everyone's like, he's just holding her down, or he's like holding her hostage, or he's manipulated her. We've been together 11 years. She seems pretty happy too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, no big deal.
She does seem happy.
But yes, I'm glad too. And I don't want to talk about this too much because it's not my stuff to talk about. She already had a bunch of like pretty crazy breakthrough ideas about stuff that she didn't realize. The cool thing about poly stuff, and I don't like talking about this stuff because I know everyone thinks it's weird, but the cool thing about it is if you can be in a relationship that's outside of your life,
mm-hmm.
your regular life, then someone can see you in a way that other people don't see you. Because as a mother and as a wife, you get lost as just being those things.
Yeah.
You forget that you're a fucking person apart from those things. And so if you're a woman and you can date outside of that, it reminds you who you are as a person, sexually and actually in every fucking other way. The cool thing about poly stuff is you have different people that see you at different parts of your life. I'm not the same guy I was 10 years ago. It's just... It's just revelatory.
So do you tell your girlfriends, like, when we all die and we're in heaven, I'm not running to you, I'm running to my wife?
Heaven's not a real place.
But if it is?
If it is, then I will get to fuck and marry all of them.
Who are you going to run to first?
There is no running to.
That's the thing. Like, if I get married and my husband dies, I wouldn't not marry again. I would not marry again, because then how am I going to have two husbands in heaven?
Heaven's not a real place. But two... Ideally, imagine all the negative stuff. Like, imagine no jealousy, no anything like that. If you have loved a few people and you're in heaven, you're the idealized versions of yourself, right? Mm-hmm. You're not fucked up in any way. Wouldn't it be awesome if you guys all got along?
Yeah.
And then you were able to love each other? That's what I'm trying to do in real life.
Yeah, but you're also trying to fuck them, too. I don't think they fuck in heaven.
If there's no fucking in heaven, how would you even call it heaven?
You get stimulated by your mind.
No. I mean, this is someone who doesn't...
A conversation in heaven will make you...
This is an orgasm. Although, here's my thing, too. I have been fucked. So, I don't think that the orgasm is the end-all, be-all. I have been fucked before. And I think it's a good feeling to make somebody else come. I think that's great, too. But, man, I can't believe you feel this way about Stevona. It breaks my heart.
I just feel like don't worry, I know sex is important, but also I just feel like it's so easy just to like fuck people. I don't care. I really don't care about that. I want to see if like Greg is like, I don't fuck. It's not easy. No, but like it's okay on my end. Like if I wanted to have sex with somebody, I could have sex with somebody if I wanted to. But it's just like it's not really important to me because does the man really care about me? Like, does the man really care about me? And do I really like this man? Like,
yes, and that's important. I honestly, of course, as a woman, that makes sense. I know you could pretty much have sex with anybody you want.
Yeah,
that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about incredible sex by two people that love and trust each other.
Well, when I find someone that loves and trusts me,
yeah.
Although I'm married, but
and I've had a couple of those
entertainment purposes.
Actually, I've had a bunch of that kind of stuff. Granted, like I said, you're a woman, and because guys are so fucked up, that's harder to find. But I've had a bunch of relationships like that. So, yes, there better be sex in heaven, God, or send me to hell. And you can quote me on that. And I hope my sister wives will all be down there burning with me.
Oh, they're going to burn all right.
We've got a great guest on today. He's a local legend. He will be famous.
Period.
I don't say that about hardly anybody, but he's from Baldwin Park. We're talking about Mario Rodriguez. He's a member of Idiots United.
He's the head idiot.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he would like that. He would like that title. I mean, yeah, I don't know if Buster Brown and Eric Cerrone are down to call him their leader, but he is one of the funniest comics around. He will be famous. He just spent a whole weekend opening up for Big J. Okerson in San Diego.
Oh, gosh. It's so cool to see everybody just kind of like rise up. Like him opening for Big J. Okerson, Angel Hernandez going on tour with Alfred Robles. Yeah. I opened up for Alfred Robles at the like. It's just so crazy to see.
It will, when you look back at certain, you'll see comedy-wise especially, that it's never like a one-person thing. It's always a scene. So I do feel blessed to be a part of this Chatterbox scene because I do think there's so many people that in the next 5 to 10 years are going to blow up, and we're going to talk about how awesome it was to be back here and to be at an open mic where Angel and Mario and Jorge Romero and Stevona and me, we just all went back. People are going to be like, what the f***? They all fucking went back to back like that?
That's how I feel when, I know you don't like him, but I want to ask your opinion also on this later. Joe Rogan, like when I used to listen to his podcast a lot heavily.
Yeah, I was a huge Joe Rogan fan.
Me too. When he talks, like I always tell all my friends this, like in comedy and stuff, I'm like, the way you hear Joe Rogan talk about all his friends that he's big time with, all of them, every single big huge comic that you know of that he's friends with, he's always talking about the Comedy Store and Mitzi, and we went back to back right here, and we used to say, I'm like, when we make it, we're gonna be talking about the Chatterbox literally that same way. And I try to, like, I don't know how to make it comprehend to other people who are not in the comedy scene, but I'm like, no, like you have to come because you guys are watching literal rising stars before your eyes, but they don't get it, they don't get it. And I understand they don't get it because it's not happening yet, but I'm like, this is literally in the process. We're gonna be like big in our mansions, have a podcast in our own home, our studio in our own home, and we're gonna be like, oh my gosh, remember when Steve used to yell at us and call us stupid and tell us we wasn't funny?
And I'll still be living with my uncle.
Okay, you don't like Joe Rogan because you say that he's a Trump supporter, right? Is that why you don't like him, or you feel like he's like misogynistic?
No. I think he's fallen apart. I think all that money has gone to his head. I think he's like a broken person. All he does is say Republican talking points. Because
I have heard people say like he's misogynistic or like Trump supporter and stuff like that. But I'm like, a lot of the times when I listen to him, he's actually really sweet to women. Like he's really nice to women, and he's all, like, he protects women too. He's not saying things like "f them in the ass" or I think his friends are, for sure, his friends are horrible people. But or also like I've heard him even talking about like, how can you deport the Mexicans? Like, you shouldn't deport Mexicans. Are one of the hardest people in the world. Like, I've actually heard him be very, very kind. So I don't understand the hate towards him. I'm not trying to
judge him as a person, but I want you to, misogyny takes a bunch of different forms. Mm-hmm. And even chivalry is kind of a way that it takes that form. You could be very respectful to women, but also think that they are such a different creature than men that you don't see them as people. Like, how many close women friends does Joe Rogan have? And I don't know. Like I said, misogyny is not the thing that pops.
I mean, he brings a lot, like, on his podcast, too. He shares, like, a platform with
I'd love for you to count all the guests and then give me the percentage.
Okay.
Yeah. Tell me how many women.
Well, I mean, just like me, though. Like, if I were to have a podcast, obviously it'd be more women than men because that's just what I get along with more because of more women. So you can't blame him for that, but he still shares with people. I just
don't think that's true with you either. I don't think it would be more women. I think you would quickly delve. I mean, even like this podcast, I try to keep it even, but there's just, I'll give you this, there's more male comedians than
there's more
comedians.
And like, let's be real, a lot of the girls aren't funny either.
You don't listen to Rogan lately, have you?
I haven't.
It's bad. It's hard to listen to. You're talking to a former Rogan head.
But like the last thing that I did watch of him, he was like backing up Mexicans and just saying like you shouldn't be deporting them. They're the hardest people.
All he does is talk shit about
stuff coming from.
All he does is talk about shit about Los Angeles. All he does is talk shit. He says Republican talking points.
Yeah,
he thinks Elon Musk is a god still.
Yeah,
and
I get that.
Everybody knows he's the biggest fucking dumbass in the world. And finally, I watch a lot of podcast YouTube stations. Even his comedy friends are pushing back and saying like, "Come on, man, this guy's a fucking idiot." Like, Elon's an idiot. He just wants more money.
Yeah.
What he did in Doge was just take a bunch of people. He took apart bureaucracies that were trying to challenge him and not let him grow as much as he wanted his companies to, so he took them apart. He got all he wanted. He played us. He played Trump. He's still playing Rogan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would not start with misogyny with Joe Rogan.
Oh, okay, because every time I talk about him, like, I hear people say he's misogynistic, and I'm like, I've heard him say very kind things about women.
Yeah. He doesn't talk that way about women. So
and he doesn't have any jokes like.
Well, he has 3 daughters. He has a wife. I think he wants the best for them. Yeah, he doesn't have any. But he doesn't talk about his wife at all. He barely talks about his daughters.
I would say more what he's like, who he's tied to, kind of makes him like a bad person and a shitty person. I don't watch him anymore just because I stopped having interest after Tony Hinchcliffe went at the Trump support, and which is crazy because I don't let politics get in the way of anything that I like. And I didn't mean to stop watching everything after he went up, but it was just like, it just happened. It was just got a little bit like distasteful, and it just like happened. It wasn't to like, I'm not supporting this. I'm not supporting none of his friends or these people. It just like happened. I was like, I'm just not interested anymore after that.
That's as someone who knows about politics, I'm not that, but I know what a Republican talking point is. They'll say these points on Fox News, and Joe will report them as if they're facts. Mm-hmm. The biggest problem with Rogan is he has on like white nationalist guests, white supremacists, different people like this. He's not smart enough to push back on them and say, oh, but what about this thing? He just takes them for the word and he goes, oh, that's interesting.
Really? I've seen him push back on a lot of besides the actual experts, which is why I liked him too, because he would push back. He would have like these, like, no, that's not true.
You just haven't listened lately.
Yeah, I guess.
This is why I don't listen to him. It's not because it's not like I took a stand either. It's just like, why does he keep just on these same things? He doesn't need to. Why is he talking about politics all the time? He's not smart like that.
Yeah.
And now his stuff is like, he's a straight up political podcaster. Whenever he has regular comedians on,
they
just clown on him. Yeah, because they're like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. I will say, though, I have met him, and he was very, very nice to me. Same with Tony Hinchcliffe. Very nice to me. Spoke positivity to me. So.
And worse, too, he believes that his style of comedy, or what he likes, is like the best comedy. And so you'll see the same kind of comedy at the Comedy Mothership, and that includes, it's a bunch of racial jokes. Now, I'm not saying racist, but it's all racial jokes. You're bagging on trans people. You're doing all this.
I mean, that's more Tony.
No, it's all of them.
Oh, all of them?
It's all of them. It's what goes at the Comedy Mothership. That's a style.
I mean, I will say this. A lot of his friends I don't really find funny. I went to the Shane Gillis, and maybe it was because it was in a big arena.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't laugh at all. And I don't know, like, maybe it is because I was in a big arena that it was hard to be present.
Yeah.
But I was like, it's not really funny.
I think Shane is one of those. I think Shane could be brilliant. I think at times he is brilliant.
Yeah.
But he moved to Austin, and he's surrounded by a bunch of dumbasses. You're not going to be a better stand-up if you're just doing it with a bunch of dumbasses around you.
Yeah.
You've got to be around great comics that inspire you, that you feel like they're nipping at your buds. You watch someone amazing.
And there are a lot of comics that did come up, though, because they moved there at the right time. Like Mike Eaton and all them. Like, a few people did. McKenna. McKenna is in that kind of circle as well.
Yes.
But also because they're good comics, you would say, right?
It depends. To me, put everything.
Because when I went, sorry,
I'm just saying,
put
put everything against the Chatterbox. There's people who are good other places, and they eat shit here. There's a comic that moved to Austin that's doing pretty well in Austin. I don't want to say their name because I don't want to speak negatively about a person. It's a nice person. I wouldn't have booked him for a Sunday, and he's doing great now. And there's no way he's gotten better.
Yeah, I will say this: when I went to Austin to go visit, that was when everybody started moving over there. That was when Kill Tony went over there, and I was like, oh my gosh, everybody sucks.
Yeah.
I was like, they fucking suck, and they sucked so hard, and I feel confident saying this. I feel look, I honestly, okay, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I can say if somebody sucks or not. I feel like I'm good enough to say that. I'm not just like bullshitting,
Yeah.
But they sucked so bad to the point where when I went up on Kill Tony, he was like, you've been the best that we've had since we've moved here.
Yeah.
For me, like.
Yeah. And you've only gotten better since then.
Yeah, I've only gotten better since then. But yeah, when Kill Tony first went to Austin, Texas, I was like, all these people fucking suck. I would fucking take it away. And I did take it away, obviously. But yeah, a lot of people, not that great, but it is a little bit easier. I don't know about now, but it is a little bit easier to get in rooms with bigger names. Like,
of course.
When I was there, I was like, how the fuck am I here with Tony Hinchcliffe and Joe Rogan and this person? Like, how am I in the same room? This would have never happened if I was in LA, honestly.
Yes. But to that I say, who gives a shit about being in the room with those people? Truly, who gives a shit? A lot of times there'll be comics that are from places that don't have a big scene. Mm-hmm. And they'll say, hey, I'm coming to the thing. Can I open? Here's my tape. I've opened for this person, this person, this person, this person. And I'm like, I don't care who you open for.
Yeah.
Like, all I give a shit is if you're funny. And so I don't mean to talk shit about other comics.
I guess when people make it in those rooms with them, they kind of feel like they're funny because like they're like, when I was a loser not doing comedy, I was just with my three friends that.
I'm just saying, someone who gets brought up at the Mothership, and that's not to say there's not funny comics in Austin. I just saw a girl named Liz Splatt, I believe.
Liz Splatt is hilarious. She's in Austin now?
She's a door person at the Mothership.
Oh, wow. Congrats to her.
Yeah, and she's hilarious.
Yeah, she is hilarious.
Not to say
but she started out in LA, so.
Oh, did she?
I mean, Frank introduced me to her.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Frank is the one who introduced me to her, and so she's been here. So I don't know if she, like, lived here before, but I've met her a few times over here.
Oh, yeah. That's not to say there's not hilarious comics in Austin, but generally, I don't know.
Yeah, and Liz, if you never lived here, I'm sorry. But you are funny. You're hilarious.
Hey, Liz, why don't you follow me back on Instagram, you piece of...
Liz, come on the potty waddy, babe.
All right. Hey, without further ado, sorry for so much comedy talk. Here's Mario Rodriguez. And we're back with the very funny Mario Rodriguez, part of Idiots United. Great to have you here, Mario.
Not the gang signs.
I know. I threw a T up on it.
We're in the middle. It's spilling over from the intro. Stevona's talking about how men have to have cars.
Yeah. I honestly agree with that. I think like if you're gonna have a girlfriend, you shouldn't even be able to have a girlfriend if you don't have a job.
Yes.
And this is not to say men who don't have cars are not successful, okay? Because I don't want nobody to think that I'm talking about anything specific. Yeah. I'm just talking about dating as a woman in general, because I have dated men who didn't have cars in the past, and he had jobs and he had money, not a lot, but, you know, he was paid for stuff when we was out, you know? So it's not, we're not saying you don't. But it is you need that where we live.
Yeah, dude, I left a show in like downtown somewhere with my lady, and it was like 1 a.m. in downtown LA, and we're walking to her car, you know, because I didn't have my truck at the time, and even then it was like, she should not be out on the street this late. You know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't. A beautiful woman needs to be in a little carriage.
Well, that's what you're there for.
No, I know, and I felt very vulnerable myself. That was the first time I ever was like, oh, I should have a gun. Like,
there are parts of downtown where it's like, oh, this is the wrong move.
Yeah, like, and then like she was wearing like a skirt, like a normal girl skirt, and like dudes are looking at her. And I was like, I'm gonna have to fight these people. If we were in a car, this would not even be an issue.
Yeah.
So it's a safety thing too, which I understand that as well.
Yeah, and men don't be thinking like, oh, I just would have got us on a birdie. No. They try to take you on a scooter.
Yeah, you
know?
ever see those two people on a scooter? It's like when you ride someone's pegs.
Yes.
It's like the new version.
I already know we have men out there thinking that, like, we 2-1 on the birdie.
I just love that we have real women. If there are like a 35-year-old woman listening to this, and they're like, what kind of life has Stevona lived? Where she even brings up the bird scooter.
The bird scooter. I like how he doesn't even get you your own bird scooter either. You know?
No, like, you have to share. I will say, driving down Long Beach, because, you know, I stay in Long Beach sometimes. I was like driving down the road, the main street, and I did see this couple sharing a scooter. Yeah. And they were laughing. The wind was blowing in their hair, and they were like, he was all like hugging her. I was like, oh, that's so cute.
That is cute.
It is cute. That's like the pursuit of happiness.
That's
cute. You know,
so
like they're just broke as hell, but it's beautiful.
That's just if you're having fun, though. You know what I mean?
That's
not like we gotta get. I don't know where there's a scooter.
Right.
On my phone, it says there should be one right here.
I did do that with Vieto. I did share a birdie scooter with Vieto because we were too broke. We were too broke to order two, and we were trying to make it to one of your shows.
Oh hell yeah!
And there was no parking. We're like, we're not gonna drive.
Yeah.
Let's just share a scooter. So I did share it with Vieto, and we fucking crashed and fell together.
Yeah, dude, the scooters are crazy. Like I just took one, and that shit is way too fast. Like my license is suspended from a DUI.
Yeah.
Like I can't even drive a car, and they just let you have a scooter, and you can just drive it however
15
you want.
miles an hour. It's pretty fast.
Yeah. And I'm not driving on the street, dude. Fuck that. I'm on the sidewalk.
Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think that, as an adult, because I know when you're a teenager you do this shit all the time, but do you think that if you fall in love with somebody and they don't love you back, do you think that that's still real love?
Wait, sorry, can you repeat that? I zoned out.
If you fall in love with someone and they love you back, let's say you're just friends with somebody, and you fall in love with them, and then they don't love you back like that, is that still real love?
On your side, yeah.
Yeah, I would say yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then, sorry, Stevona. The podcast has to end. This is another. I'm bringing another fight that was in off there because I said, "Dude, wouldn't that be hilarious if I fell in love with Stevona?" And she went.
I just got done before you came in. I was like, I feel so bad for my fan base because I know they come and they watch for me and they don't know Steve, so they just think he's just some creepy ass man, bald, creepy ass old bald man next to me, like talking about sex and talking about.
What's this brown ball next to him?
Stevona is 31 years old.
30.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. You're not a little girl. You could talk about these things.
Yeah, but people know that that's not like my brand. That's not like what I do.
What do you think your brand is?
My brand is very wholesome baddie.
Wholesome baddie. Right.
30-year-old women have sex.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
You
but we
have
don't get on
sex.
podcasts and be like, I fucking come, bro.
Hell yeah, that's
Well,
my
you-
job. That's actually my job.
You especially don't say that because you don't. So sorry, I don't know what to
would
tell
not
you.
share with anybody if I did, because I'm not gonna let these bitches know who's making my man. Hold on. I'm not gonna let these bitches know who the man is that is making me, because they're gonna be like, let me see why he's so good.
That's true.
I'm gonna tell every girl, nah, it's little.
If
It don't hurt.
This goes back to my thing, which I really don't want to talk to you too much about this, because I don't want you to be uncomfortable.
But no, wait, hold on, because I was saying, I told you that. Yeah, I'm like, they don't know Steve personally, so I know it comes off weird. And I was literally like, I'm safe, everybody. I'm safe. You don't got to worry about me. And now he's talking about falling in love. My goodness.
If I fell in love with you, it would never happen.
There is no if. There is no if.
It'd be so sweet.
Stevona, I just asked you, would it be real love? And you said yes on that person's side.
You can love me as a father.
Don't get him here. Don't get him here.
You can love me as a daughter.
You're making him stronger.
I know. Have you watched pornography
You
lately?
can love me as a daughter, and that is that, Dad.
No, Dad. Don't say Dad.
I'm gonna call you Pop now.
No, not Dad. Can you say Daddy? Can you say?
No, you're gonna be Pop.
Oh no, he's gonna pop. He's actually you're gonna make him pop.
Ladies, I don't be talking about stuff like that.
Here's my controversial opinion: is I don't think if you have a completely one-sided fall in love with someone like that, I don't think it's real love.
Interesting.
I really don't think that, because I do think at some point when you start to feel that kind of thing for someone, I think you have to have a conversation. I'm a grown-up. I'm an adult. And even if that's just your friend, you say, hey, listen, this is what I'm going through. I don't want anything from you.
I want to fuck you so
no,
bad.
you don't say anything about fuck. You just say, hey, this is what I'm feeling. I just got to let you know this has nothing to do with you. We might need to take a little time off or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's the grown-up way to do shit. You don't like confess your love
I've
to the person.
had a guy do that to me. He blocked me.
He did block you?
He blocked me because he just knew that it was never gonna happen, and he didn't like seeing like me on there.
Yeah, that's best case scenario.
Yeah, I mean that. Of course, we're talking about her old podcast On the Rocks with Daniel Cabral and Stevona Delgado.
Gosh, he has this joke where he's like, Daniel Cabral and Stevona having sex. Like, no, like, and he keeps bringing it up. Like, no.
It'll never come up again until Daniel's on the podcast.
Right? Yeah.
Oh my
I don't know who
gosh.
has better eyebrows though.
Daniel.
I can't.
I don't know.
Hey, and Stevona, truly, I don't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. I'm sorry. We'll have to have a talk offline to see where the limit is with you, because I don't want to affect your brand either.
Yeah, definitely.
Jesus Christ, right? You're like that Jesus Christ guy. Jesus Christ.
I just also want to be like, if I do make it, honestly, on everything that I love, if I do make it and become somebody, I also do kind of want to be a role model for like younger girls too. That's why I don't really like talking about like grimy stuff like that. On stage it's okay, but even when I say it as jokes, it's really not that like dirty. And honestly, this is crazy to me, but I have this girl that I met on Instagram, and she's so nice to me. I support her business. She makes like little tiny pancakes and stuff like that. Her name is Beatrice.
Sounds cool, man.
That's a perfect business model, because you need a lot of them. That's a
I'll have
perfect.
15, I guess.
I'm so sorry.
But she has a daughter who is like in love with me. Like, she's like, my daughter's so obsessed with you. Like, she says that you're her role model. And I'm like, oh my God, what do you be showing her? Like, that like low key scared me, because I'm like, sometimes I'll be saying crazy things, but her daughter like knows who I am, and her daughter will like send TikToks of girls and be like, is this Stevona? Is this her? Like, so I also do, there is a part of me that like, I do want to like be a good role model for the younger girls out there that are looking at me.
Can I tell you that if you want to be a stand-up comedian, that is the absolute wrong thing to think?
I mean, no, it's not, because I just don't have to go talking about sex all the time. I can still be a celebrity and be very famous.
No, I said a stand-up comic. I said a stand-up comic. You don't want any little girls, you don't want to be their role model.
Unfortunately, it does happen, though. It's not in my control.
Yeah, but
I can't. What I say on stage is different than what I say like on
This is the same problem
like
Chris D'Elia had, I think. This is the same problem Chris D'Elia had.
Like, on there, like, that's comedy.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. That's where you can get honestly, that's why I do comedy, because I don't go around saying these things to my friends. I can say it up on stage, and it's like, okay, this gives me a reason.
How do you feel about
like
recording a special with those jokes you say on stage then?
That's fine. That's my art. That's the whole thing. It's art.
Okay.
But I'm not going to be, I'm not a fucking artist 24/7 with all these different people and millions of people whom I don't even know. I don't want to give them that, like, you know?
Yeah, I guess it is a little different too. Like if you're going to a comedy show to see a stand-up comic, you're kind of like accepting that it's going to be something other than like online content, which is super easily consumed by anybody.
Yes.
You know? Like there's not really consent in that like consumption of media. You know, like if you put out a podcast, anybody can see that. But if you're doing stand-up, they have to like agree to come to your show. They have to buy the drinks, they have to sit in the seat. You know, it's like a lot more agreements.
Yeah, and like younger girls can't come to like comedy shows just like that, but they will be able to search me up on the internet and like watch things that I say. So like, you know, I'm not tripping. It's just like, it's just that sometimes I feel like it's like talking about sex. I probably like, I have the freedom to do it, so it doesn't really excite me to really talk about it. Like, it doesn't get me like, ooh, oh,
it doesn't get
like
me,
I
don't see then why. And I'm not pushing. I really don't want you. My big thing is I don't want you to ever feel uncomfortable. So if you say you don't want to do something, and then I don't want to cross that line. But I would say though too, what's so weird or off-putting about sex? Like, don't young girls need to know about sex too?
Yeah, but they should go to specialists for that.
Okay, please tell me about this. Please tell me about this
Or
specialist.
they should go to their mothers or something. Like, I'm not.
You know that girls don't go to their mothers. They need stuff. Regular people.
Well,
like
they can message me.
Oh, okay.
Message me, but I'm not gonna be.
Message her.
They can message
you wouldn't want to tell them about the sex mistakes you made growing up when you were young.
UTIs?
I don't feel like I've made mistakes. I honestly don't feel like I made mistakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't want to talk about it.
I don't feel like I've made any mistakes.
No. That's okay then too. I just don't.
I got a condom stuck in me one time. That was the most.
Let's go.
That was the most.
I think sex is. My thing is
Classic.
that sex is a part of life. I don't think it's weird or dirty or anything like that stuff. So to say this one thing and you're making it that it's the special thing, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's special. I just choose to not let people in on that. Like, doesn't matter.
I
like,
totally
I'm not guarding it. I just like, I'd rather you guys know me for something else. Like, I have a lot of other great qualities that outdo my stories. I'll tell you that right now. And you even said it too. My sex life is boring. So like, what?
Yeah.
I don't care. So then I have other stories to talk about. I shine in other areas. Like, and yeah, sometimes I feel like I get a little bit from you, Steve, as I get a little like hints of like, you love talking about sex out loud and like doing this and doing that. It excites you a lot. And
it doesn't excite me.
But it's like normal to you because
Yes.
back in one point in your life, you couldn't do it at all and you were restricted from it. I wasn't restricted from anything like that. I was able to do whatever I want. And so it's just like things like that you talk about just doesn't like excite me because
it doesn't bring me.
I feel like for you had to hold off on that for so long that now you're like, oh, like you're like a dog you're like a dog that gets let out of the yard for the first time.
I think that most people think like you think, and I think that as a dirty comic, as a quote unquote dirty comic, that people like laugh at it, but ultimately they don't like to talk about it. They think it's a dirty thing, and so I talk about it because I don't think it's a dirty thing. That's my thing. But I absolutely 1,000%. I don't get off on it at all. I just think I like to tell the truth. That's why I used to be a pastor, for the same reason. I think this stuff is all tied together. Mm-hmm. I think that people have a lot of shame around it, and so I think shame is awful, and I'll do anything to dispel that shame. But if you're saying just for yourself that you don't want that to be a part of your brand, I totally respect that.
No, yeah, like, and it's like it's not that. Like
if you have
the
no
same
interest,
way, it's just that it's like I just like to keep it private because I value is it between me and that person only. Me and that person only.
A couple people.
You know, like like I wouldn't want like my man who I'm having going on and saying like, oh yeah, I do this, I do that. Like I value that. It's important to me in a relationship. That's why I only like to really have the people that I love. That's why I'm not like a whore or anything like that.
You mean have sex
just
for
the
fun?
Way, but just just the way like I wouldn't want these people on YouTube to see me naked or like see my tits or anything. I don't want them to envision me like having sex.
Well, they're doing it.
And that's okay, but it's not on my my end, you know?
Sure.
It's not on my end.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about sex. Let's talk about gender. Boys should be boys, right, guys?
But do you get that? Do you see where I'm coming from?
No, I
absolutely.
get that. I get that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you got to choose what you talk about. There's nothing wrong with that. I talk about sex a lot. I just think it's fun and poop and pee and all the bad stuff. Just because I think it's silly and it's fun. And early on in my comedy experience, it's like especially crowds. Sometimes they're uptight. Sometimes people are uptight, and it's a way to get them out of that. But again, I'm not a small woman. I'm a homeless looking man. So when I had to talk about sex, they're like, oh, there's that dirty sailor. When you talk about sex, they're like, oh, look at that little bitch. Look at her fucking. You know what I mean?
Yes,
and so it's a different thing. So I understand what you're saying. And you love Christ.
I do love the Lord.
Loving the Lord.
I do love the Lord, but I could be. I could still be funny. And will I let like a sex story slip here and there? Like, yeah, sure, but I'm not like 100%. This is not gonna happen. But like, it's just all the way in the back of my mind. All the way in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. Mario started off doing stand-up here. I remember he was so terrible at first.
Yeah.
I remember, but you grinded and you lived across America for a little while?
Yeah. I lived in
What's
my
that
truck.
all about?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Before, I think we barely met, kind of. I started coming over here like around that time, and then I bought a truck and I moved into the truck. And the original idea, I was going to write a novel.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I was like, and then I got to like San Jose, and I was like, dang, writing's hard. I'll just go do an open mic. I think I'll just go do an open mic, and then it just turned into like me really concentrating on stand up a lot. But yeah, like when I first started, I was so bad. I would just do like, I've always done kind of crowd work, and a month in doing crowd work is pretty unbearable at an open mic, because you don't know like where you're at, kind of, because like Chatterbox was an established thing already, and I came in, I was like, oh, this is just like another open mic, so it's like people that are killing it on their material, they see just some loser doing crowd work, and they're like, and I'm blacked out drunk, what I mean? A lot of things are kind of working against me, but yeah, and then the doing stand up on the road was so sick, and just open mics. I didn't know no shows.
I remember one of the funniest times is I went to Denver to do a bunch of shows, and I went to an open mic just because I had nothing else to do, and Mario walked up to me in Denver, and I didn't know. I don't even think I knew his name then. He's like, "Hey, fool, what's going on?" And I was like, "What the are you doing out here? How long did you stay in Denver for?"
I was in Denver for like a month. Denver was one of my favorite places. I was at like the Lion's Den or something like that. It's like a legendary
open mic.
You live there?
I lived in my truck for like a month, yeah.
Wow.
Dude, it was summer too. It was like August, I remember. And it was so hot. I was literally sleep naked in there, and like just as soon as I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't think any of you guys have been homeless, but a lot of it is like tracking the sun.
Oh, wow.
So like
I've never thought about it.
Yeah, like
that is so funny.
Most of being homeless is like tracking where the sun is, So like I would park places where I know that the sun would rise over trees, so I would have shade.
Yeah.
And then some places you wouldn't have it, so by the like 8 a.m., even earlier than that, as soon as the sun rises, it'll be right up on you, and like that Denver sun is so hot and humid, and oh man, I remember like having to get out of I always parked next to a coffee shop in every city I was in. So like as soon as I got out, I would have to like run to this coffee shop to shit, I remember barely making it to this coffee shop in Denver.
I mean, did you learn to feel like people must have felt like they judged you or not liked you, right? For being homeless?
Yeah, for being homeless. Mostly the judgment and not liking came from like the local comics. Because you get there and they're like, who the is this guy? Who the fuck is this guy? I remember one show I did, or mic or whatever. It was a great mic in Denver, and they I signed up like maybe 13th. I was literally like 43rd. I was at the end of the night. It was like 1 a.m. And like I kind of got used to that. Every city I was in, you'd have to kind of like build up like your kind of cachet in that city. So you meet everybody, and then like whatever spot you got, you just had to kill. Like it was right before it closed. It didn't matter. 2 people you have to kill, and then people were like, oh, that guy's cool. He did his little time,
Yeah.
And then you start getting earlier and earlier spots, and then by the time I would be in a city, I would be doing shows. But the first shows I've ever done were out in Portland and Seattle and Denver.
No, I remember Sam Talent talking about that's how you have to do it. If you want to start to make a living doing stand-up, that you have to go into a town, kill hard at an open mic, have people start to ask you to do the shows, and then you could start to accumulate money, start to make a little bit of money to get to the next place.
Yeah. Like that was like the first time I ever did like 10-minute sets. Yeah. And then 2
Damn. They're just giving out time like that over there?
Yeah.
They do anywhere but LA and New York.
Really
because there's barely anybody out there.
There's barely anybody, and they're like not dumb, but they're like not exposed the same way, where like we kind of like look down on stand-up in a way. Like over there they're like, oh man, I'm a stand-up comedian, you know. And it's like, oh cool.
So true.
Like there's this spot in Seattle, it was like this coffee shop, and it was mostly a musician mic, and they would let you do 10 in the beginning and then 10 and 10 again in the second. So the crowds would like be a new crowd, so you'd be able to do 10 and then 10 that same night, and you would do it 2 nights a week. So you're doing 40-minute sets at this one coffee shop alone in Seattle. That got me so much better, so much time, and then everyone in the Pacific Northwest is like such a good writer. So then you had to like get your writing game going, you know, and like because you don't want to look like a loser. And so that taught me kind of how to write a little bit better. And then Denver taught me how to be fucking drunk and crazy.
Well, I think that your style is very interesting too. You always push it pretty far, but you could say certain words.
You push it pretty far, but you always bring it back.
Well, I mean, there are words you could use or talk about certain things. Like, I notice you could make fun of trans people, but you don't make fun of trans people.
Right. If anything, I glorify them. If anything, I think they're the perfect person. They're everything.
An incredible, beautiful woman with a dick. Yes.
Yeah. Oh God.
That actually, it sounds amazing to me.
Yeah. Actually, absolutely. And that's always funny. Because that's like also. Being anti-woman is like, actually trans women are like the best. You know what I mean? Like,
Matt Lockwood has that amazing joke when he goes, I actually think trans women are the best drivers. So funny.
Matt Lockwood is hilarious.
Dude, he's so
that was
funny.
My first time seeing him at that Chatterbox, and I was like, wow, amazing, talented.
Yeah, he's like one of the dudes that like when I first started, I was like, oh man, that guy's so funny. Like him, like Ben Avery, the dude that worked, Bruce Gray.
Yeah.
I would do like the Ice House mic, and I would bomb so hard, and they were so funny. I was like, God, these guys are so funny. I suck. I suck so hard. I remember one time bombing so hard and then looking out and be like, all you white motherfuckers don't get me.
I'm about to blow this shit up.
I said that. I absolutely said that. I was like, you white pieces of shit, this and that. And then I got off stage, and then this other like Latino comic got on. I won't say his name. And he was like, my sister is pregnant at 12 and shit. And everyone was like,
who was it? What's wrong with that?
No, it's not.
They eat up the cheesy stuff because they think that's how Mexicans are.
Exactly. So I remember that moment. Like I was way worse, but I was like, I'm never gonna do that about like my shit. Like, cause I don't really even if I could, I don't really have that much like Mexican material.
Over there, they think that we talk like, hey, primo.
Yeah.
Do you want to go have lunch?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm with mi amiga right now.
Have you ever met a Latino person that is like that though?
Yes.
I know one person.
It annoys
right
me.
Now. Yes, it's crazy. I feel like I'm watching a Netflix show right now.
Exactly.
They're like, da-na-na, pero.
Yeah,
hey,
exactly.
carnal.
Yeah, exactly.
I really am thinking of one person right now who they're a nice person, and they're actually very hot too, which is what drives me crazy about this thing.
Yeah.
Pero.
Because they mean I've thought a lot about this. They mean well. They're trying to reconnect with their roots, but they're so far detached that it's like when you see an AI video and you're like, something's not right. Like the thumb's weird, something that's like when like a white Latino tries to get in touch with Aslan or whatever the they start talking about like Chicano studies and like every Chicano studies major girl I know is like dating a white man. You know what I mean? Like every single one.
So what was your upbringing like? Were your parents still married?
My parents are still married. Yeah. They're very Catholic. My dad was in the army. My mom loves America.
That's beautiful.
Like they,
Not the America part. Everything else. Yeah. Not the America part.
No, they're. I mean, my dad, is just like all Latinos' dads, pretty angry and violent when I was younger. But like as he got older, he got softer. But they're like proud to be American. I remember when I was a kid, they were like, "You're American first and Mexican second."
My dad said that too.
You know, because they were raised in Reagan, so they're like assimilate, like you know.
Yeah, when my dad moved to LA from Ohio with his family, he was I think like 6 years. He was like 6 years old. And they used to like beat him at school for speaking Spanish.
Oh shit!
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what angers me. That's what angers me a lot is that when people say Mexicans don't belong, or like not about that. When people get upset with me because I don't know Spanish. I've been here for so long, and like you know, like my grandma knew Spanish, but like I would ask my mom like, why did you guys not like teach me Spanish? And they're like, well, my grandpa had to change his name to like an English name so he could get hired, and they couldn't even talk Spanish at work because the CEOs can't understand it, so they don't know what they're talking about. So it kind of just like gets erased in a way because you have to like fit in, right? Back in the day, they had to kind of like fit in to get jobs. And stuff.
Absolutely. And it's passively for like job stuff, and it's like very like physically with like physical violence. You know, like if people are speaking like the whole Zoot riots were like, you know, people like, you know, embracing their culture and then getting struck down by white society.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I'm really happy my dad took me to see all Mexican movies when I was 12 years old. I didn't know rape was such a big part of our, our history. Right. There was like 3, like Bound by Honor, American Me, and Mi Familia all came out within the like couple of years. And most of them have just so much like prison rape and stuff in it. And I remember being like 12, and I'm like, why am I watching this?
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, the beginning of imagine being 12 and watching the beginning of American Me that has his mom getting raped by Marines. It was awful.
Is American Me the one where they curb stomped the guy?
That's American History X.
Oh, okay.
So, American Me for American History. Exactly. Yeah.
You haven't seen American Me, Stevona?
No.
I seen it when I was a kid. I vaguely remember it. I just know that it was like a bunch of like rape stuff. Like I feel like that's, you know,
I mean, it's women's stuff too, but there's a lot of guy rape too.
It's like, Immortal Technique dancing with the devil in real life.
Okay.
sorry, you're gonna have to bleep out some of this stuff, Greg.
Yeah, sorry,
You're
Greg.
just gonna be sitting there, bomb.
Yeah, but like the conspiracy psyop version of me is that like the only representation in media of Latino men is either like getting raped or like you know, or cholo, you know, drugs. Like they the only way that those pieces come out is because like someone's like, okay, well they have to get raped, you know what I mean? Just like
that's the black people in a dress, black men in a dress,
you know. Exactly.
But I mean,
maybe you know that's my conspiracy.
I mean, it's not that conspiratorial because in traffic day. Or training day. That comes up again.
Yeah.
And I was like, why do the Mexican guys want to rape Ethan Hawke?
Right.
Like, what, are they just into doing this?
He's hot. We get it. We get it. You don't have to do that.
Hollywood is the reason they want to send us back.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
I think it's just Republicans.
Yeah.
But you know, as we find out, there's more and more of them all the time too. You're just a regular, but they were just very I mean, it sounds like the way my dad raised us too. I didn't think too hard about being Mexican, and also, you know, I think because I didn't know Spanish and stuff like that, I felt whitewashed,
right?
Because other Mexicans make you feel that way sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
But once I got out to Hollywood, once I got out to LA, and you meet people from Chicago and everything, you're like, I'm not white.
No.
I'm just a version of Mexican. Yeah. And there's millions of me.
So it's a spectrum. It's a kaleidoscope. That's one thing about doing those mics on the road too that showed me, like, here I didn't, like I showed you about the Ice House, me being mad at the white people, but like here I didn't really feel like a Latino comic. You know? As soon as you get into Portland, you're like, oh, I'm the Mexican most person they've ever seen in their whole life. You know, like I am literally
representation.
Like exactly.
You're the diversity hire.
Yeah, and then you start to like get into it too, because you're like, oh, I am Mexican. I do feel more Mexican than I've ever felt, and you kind of take an ownership of that. You know, it's just like Kobe Bryant. Like I hated Kobe. Yeah. And then I left LA, and I was like, oh wait, actually everyone hates Kobe. I actually like him now. You know what I mean? Like, you know.
I'd like to like him more. Just the whole stuff is too.
Yeah, I know, but
I guess that makes him more Mexican, right?
You know? Exactly. He's the most Mexican ever.
Oh my goodness.
Never seen him wear a dress, but I did. Yeah.
He was such a jerk. I hated how much he was a ball hog and stuff too.
Right.
But
his man. He was hogging the hell out of those balls.
He's going to take what he wants when he wants it. Oh, my God.
He's always going to have his way.
But I will tell you, even with all that stuff, the day, of course, Kobe died, I like straight up cried. And this is a guy I hated my whole life. But I remember I was sitting in my chair at our apartment in Koreatown. And I was like, Kobe died, and like I started to cry. I was like, oh my God, we were brought up with him.
Yeah.
So despite however awful he was in whatever way he was LA's own.
Yeah.
And you're from LA when you know exactly what you were doing that day when Kobe Bryant died. Because I remember it too, and I didn't even give a fuck about basketball, but I remember like being at the gas station and like getting some homeless man came in to tell us. He goes, "Hey, Kobe Bryant died." Don't believe him.
He's all happy.
So,
Clippers forever. Clippers forever.
Did you cry, Stevona?
I felt a little heartbroken. I didn't cry, but I did feel a little bit heartbroken.
Well, the story's sad with his daughter and
Yeah, that was really sad with his daughter. Yeah.
Yeah, I was sitting down on my parents' house on my floor. I was sitting on the floor on my phone, and then I got it. I seen it, and I told my parents immediately, and they were like, "What?"
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I was pissed. I was pissed because when Kobe Bryant died, I was like, damn, I need to cherish my dad more. And I'm like, Dad, I love you. And then the next week, my dad died.
Helicopters. God, helicopters.
Your dad died in 2020, right after Kobe?
Yeah, he died literally right after Kobe Bryant. I was like, damn, they took two heroes.
Both my father figures are gone.
That's funny you're saying that too, Mario, because I feel the exact same way. I used to feel all that, but it's just because it is so Latino and Mexican here.
Yeah.
It's almost like fish swimming in water. You don't realize you're in water. But I said it in an earlier show. I was like, there is no greater place or time to be a Mexican man than in Los Angeles right now. Yeah. Although I said this before ICE.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But
it is crazy carrying your birth certificate with you.
I know. Oh my God! I just saw something on Covina 626 that this woman said, "Yeah, my nephew's like fourth generation, and he was a security guard, and he was detained for like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah,
till they could get someone down there. To like show his birth certificate.
Yeah, that's why it's so crazy because like it just shows that like anyone could just take you. You know, like that doesn't really matter. If you have enough guys, you could just get taken. That's why women probably feel all the time.
Yeah,
you know, like you guys that have ICE all the time.
Just single ICE agents.
Single ICE agents. Yeah, no, absolutely.
We were trying to think of like videos we could do. We try to like do like little parody videos for the week that like we talk about stuff on the podcast, try to make like a funny video, and the last video we made was like all about ICE. And I was like, why don't we make a parody where we dress up as nice?
And we chase down the guys and give them lunch.
That's funny, dude.
So we'll get in so much trouble.
Not that funny.
You jump out of a van and you go give someone a pizza.
That's the sketch, but it's like such a horrific thing.
I know. I'm like, we can't do it, but like. ICE, it's all about nice.
Yeah, your bulletproof vests have like fringe. You know? Yeah.
Oh my God! So you are very artistic.
Oh.
You are artistic. You write poetry. You were thinking of writing the novel.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. First, I want to hear about the poetry, but then Stevona just said you were thinking of writing a novel. Hey, Stevona, haven't you thought about writing a novel?
I am writing a novel.
Yeah.
Well, it's my diary, but you know it's gonna be published one day.
Zola, I don't know. You just did your Zola.
What Zola? What do you
know what Zola is?
No.
It was this girl did a series of tweets and they made it into a movie.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
There you go.
No, yeah, I got my diary.
You're a poet.
I mean, I wrote poetry.
You don't write poetry anymore?
I still do sometimes.
Have you ever performed poetry?
Yes, unfortunately. Yes.
Don't say unfortunately.
No, it's weird. It's a whole. I just did a poetry reading not that long ago. And
I know, that's why I asked.
Oh, hell yeah. And it's just like I'm used to stand up, so I get up there and I'm like everyone's having a good time, but it's like everyone's so serious and they're like, yes. So I had to like be like, yo, y'all good or what? But yeah, I liked it because I liked reading. Like I always thought reading was dumb and like.
What happened to you? Frank said you were the quarterback.
Yeah.
Were you like clean cut and stuff?
Yeah,
too?
I was clean cut.
What happened to you to change that?
I went to Kansas. I played football in Kansas. I
For college?
For college, and
what was it, like a Division II school?
it was Division III. Yeah.
But you got a full ride or a great scholarship?
Yeah, I got like a pretty much like 90% covered.
My friends are so talented. Seriously, so talented.
I mean,
but like that's what, like physically, if physical talent is like one thing, because you can only do football.
No,
for
yeah,
so
but
long,
physically
you know what I mean?
you're on the shorter side, not
Yeah,
as big.
yeah. I
mean, well,
Dude, there's a picture. No, you're right though, because there's a picture of me, because I played. I was the only freshman to play, so I'm like in my stands, and like around me are like the biggest black guys you've ever seen that are also on my team. You know, I look like a little chihuahua out there with like pit bulls.
Did you QB?
No, I played linebacker.
Yeah.
I played defense.
You were a linebacker and you were
Yeah.
little?
Yeah.
To even make it that far, like for your size and every like your build, you know, because you're more like surfer built boy. You're more like surfer built.
Surfing's helped a lot. Yeah, well, like I was always like I had like a good head, like I could read really well. I was like could process information quickly, so I would just be in a good spot. And then so I went out to Kansas, and then I started smoking weed out here, but in Kansas I started smoking weed and coke.
You had to have a real drug dealer and stuff, right?
Yeah, dude, it was awesome. I remember going to like some of the worst places ever. In Oklahoma once, I was having an asthma attack, and we picked up this weed that was like, it was pretty much like pro-meth pressed weed. It was orange. I remember it was flat and orange, and I smoked that, and it cured my asthma attack.
Whoa.
Yeah, like drugs have helped me so much in like a weird way to like break out of like, because I didn't even think I was like really alive until like I was like 18, 19, mentally.
Yeah. So you out there, you started doing drugs, and then it started to open you up. Did you decide to drop out of school?
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you get hurt playing football?
I kind of hurt my back. Which was like annoying to lift because we were lifting so much, and I was so little, so I had to add a lot of weight. And I was just like, dude, this sucks, man. Like, I'd rather just smoke weed. And then I started traveling with my friends.
I'd rather just smoke weed. It's crazy.
Yeah, for real. And then, like, we started traveling to, like, Texas and Oklahoma, Missouri. And I was like, oh, like, the world's so big, And then I was like, I'd rather just do that. And I started reading more. And, like, I started, like, it's a classic boy thing, but I started reading Hemingway.
Sure.
And that, like, opened me up to, like, beauty and tragedy.
Wow,
and,
what's
like,
Hemingway about?
Hemingway is, like, it's like a man's journey through masculinity with also being like tender and soft in a way. He was kind of gay and kind of mean, but he like wrote really well, and it was like simple. Like Hemingway's really simple. It's like he doesn't use big words, and I'm not very good with words, so I like that style of writing. So it was cool to learn like a man can write a novel. I never thought of that. I always thought like art was gay. So once I started doing that, I started dabbling like writing myself. I did write a novel. It was terrible novel.
Can we ask what it was about, or like not so much? You don't have to give the full
it was
tea,
just
but
about a guy that was like super drunk.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a basic first novel.
that's why you
like,
didn't finish it. You got
Bukowski.
drunk.
Yeah, no, it's Bukowski-esque. I finished that one.
Oh, you finished it? Okay.
Yeah, the second one was gonna be a magnum opus of sorts, but I never got to it. But it's still there. It's still there. It's
So
about not being able to speak Spanish. But yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So you dropped out and you came back to. When did you come back to Baldwin Park?
I came back in right around 2013. Like I was like 19.
Yeah. And were your parents disappointed?
They were so happy.
Oh, really?
They hated me being gone. Yeah.
Oh,
Man, that
that's
is some
so
Mexican
Mexican.
shit right there. They're like, forget the college degree.
Just stay
Home.
here. Stay here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like they were so like they were like, oh, go to Citrus, and I went to Citrus for like 5 years. I went there forever.
Yeah.
And didn't get nothing done.
Yeah.
Were you just taking electives? Like me, I was like, which would be
Yeah.
like.
Well, I kept switching my fucking major.
Me
like,
too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Well,
Like, it's not worth it no more.
It's not worth it no more. I'm like fucking 25.
And
you
I
know?
couldn't pass algebra either, so they weren't letting me get
Oh.
anywhere further.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you do give like nurse vibes.
Oh, no,
Yes,
I don't give a f about these people.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a nurse. Exactly my point. Yeah. Well, like a lot of nurses go into it because it's a good job. They don't want to be in medicine. You know, that's why like a lot of people like teachers are so underpaid that the people that would go into teaching go into nursing because they're like, well, at least it's a better paycheck, but they don't care about health. They would be better in like service industry, but they can't, so they have to go into nursing. So our medical system is all people that want to get paid and don't care about people.
Yeah, I'm sure once I get where I want to be in my career and I have more free time, I would go back to school just to learn for fun. I don't want to go to school because I need to. And where it's like,
that's what I learned too, is that knowledge is cool when you want it.
Yes.
You know? When you're forced to do it, it sucks.
It was almost like a scam too, because I'm like, I'm paying so much for these books and this parking, and I need food. I need to buy lunch and stuff like that. And then
I need to buy Little
like,
Caesars.
Gosh, yeah, it's just I'm like, I'm not getting anywhere, and I don't really genuinely like the stuff that I'm doing. But I didn't know that when you do stand-up comedy, I thought you had to know somebody famous in order to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could just go to like a coffee shop and pay $5 and talk for 10 minutes. I didn't know that. I thought you had to know somebody to get in, because there's not really, but this is before podcasts, really. Like, nobody talked about how you, and I didn't know any comedians
Well,
either.
so how'd you find out about it then, Stevona?
You want to hear this story or like?
Yeah.
I had a best friend who moved to Oregon. I'm gonna see her soon. She has she goes in and out of drugs sometimes. So sometimes when I see her, I'm like, yes, because I lose her for a minute. I can't get a hold of her. But ironically, she moved back here. And she would always tell me, you're so funny. You got to be a comedian. Like, you're so funny. And I'm like, but I don't know how to do it. Like, what would I do? She's like, we're going to find out. We're going to find out. She gets hired at the Peach Cafe, and she starts dating her coworker, who's Josh Magic Michaels.
Is that in Monrovia?
In Monrovia.
Oh, I forgot
she
about
gets
that
hired
place.
there, and she starts dating Josh Magic Michaels. And she goes, he's a comedian. Like, I'm going to ask him when he has an open mic, and we're going to go. So she took me to Wang's. And that was in Monrovia also.
Was Wang's your first mic?
I didn't do it. I just watched. I just
Nice.
watched, and that's where I seen him. I seen Ricky for the first time.
Oh, man, that was a
like,
sad mic. Did you ever go to that?
Do it.
No.
But that's why it was so sad. I was like, I could do this.
Right. Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
was like, I could do this. And then I chickened out the next week, and then it closed down, and then it closed so fast, and I was like, dang, I don't know what to do. And then ironically, I ran into Josh Magic Michaels, and he's like, no, it closed down, but I'm at this new place in Covina called Chatterbox. So I came, and I seen people go up, and I seen so many people suck, and I was like, I could do this.
Yeah.
I could do this.
That's the best, dude. That's the
Like,
best.
I tell people, I'm like, just come to an open mic and just see people, because there's people that really fucking suck, but they don't care.
Yeah.
Or there's people that like they're doing okay, but they're getting laughs. So you're like, okay, I know I'm a little bit better than that, you know?
Yeah.
And I was already like writing funny stuff on Twitter and on my Facebook statuses that I was like, I could take this to a stage. Like, this is writing.
Yeah.
People like writing those statuses and stuff. That's writing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, that was. You were probably one of the most charismatic people that I ever seen at first get up on stage. You were almost completely formed, which is a very rare thing. Like, it takes most of us years to get decent.
And I would come in my Chevron uniform sometimes. I would leave work early. I would ask if I could leave work early on Thursdays, and then I would just come in like my Chevron thing so I could like make it before like the mic ended.
Hell yeah.
Well, whenever people have jobs like that too, I remember Shane Bianchi used to have this little white guy who used to come here. They used to be roommates, and he worked at Little Caesars. Do you remember that little white guy?
That's funny.
Shane Bianchi's lived with everybody.
I know, this poor little white guy. He worked at Little Caesars, and I told him, you gotta talk about working at Little Caesars. I was like, it's so funny. And he did start to talk about it. And there's a guy the other day that said he works at McDonald's and Raising Cane's, and I was like, you gotta talk about that, man. It's so funny.
Yeah.
People don't know about that. It's like such an interesting thing.
Yeah, and it's so it's so there. It's common.
Of course, yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Did you have any job? My first job was McDonald's. What was your first job?
My first job was a warehouse. I worked in a warehouse.
How old were you?
I was 17.
How much money did you make?
Not that much. I mean, I honestly, I don't even remember. It was like a job just to keep me busy until I left for Kansas, and it got me like a little bit. I left for like $600 total.
Damn. You must have been, I mean, you were a different person back then, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was pretty much like.
Did you have a fade, a haircut, like a fade?
I would have like I hated hairstyles and cutting my hair, so I would just like buzz it. It was like one all over. I was like a Marine. Yeah. And I just unloaded 18-wheelers.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
We're going to be winding down soon, but I've got to ask you, man to man.
Yes.
You famously have a big wang. I know you can't talk about this. But I want to know, when did you know you had a big wang?
I still am in this. I don't believe anybody. I don't believe you.
I've heard from various sources
I would love to have a big wiener.
But hold on, have you ever taken your pants down and were like ashamed?
I've always felt shame around my penis. Yeah.
That's a real man, ladies.
Yeah, like because like I don't know, like I didn't grow up around a lot of other penises. Like I didn't see other people's penises.
Sure, most of us didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. Like I've always thought my penis was small, just because like I'm pretty sure it's small. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, and like. I mean,
subscribe to the Patreon to see.
Listen, we got full pics coming on.
Yeah.
And if those pics get out, it's all Mario's fault. I want you guys to know that.
Hey, as long as I get a fucking weekend at the Ice House, I don't care.
So you're telling me, man to man, that you still don't think it's big?
Well, now, I feel like, I don't know. The ladies that I've been with have said that I am like it's a fine, you know.
Yeah.
So that's all that really matters to me.
To the ladies dating Mario, say it's better than fine.
Yeah. Well, like I never liked hyping up penis because it's like
you will let a lady down by doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh yeah, I have the biggest. Like that's always been super gay to me.
Yeah.
So like I'm just like, yo, we're gonna have fun, and you're gonna have we're gonna. Have fun. Like I like so like it's not about
it's gonna be fun, okay?
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Well, you know? it's like I've always told anyone. Our biggest, if you're afraid of another man, that's not the thing to be afraid of. The thing to be afraid of is alpha lesbians, and they don't even have a penis.
They don't have penises.
So
that's what makes them more powerful.
Yeah, they could buy one.
They got
the strap-ons.
Yeah, so like that's Elon Musk has a problem with his penis now because he tried to have it elongated.
Is that what people say?
Yeah, that's like the rumor that's.
I've never heard this. Is this real?
Yeah, like that's like he tried to get a penis enlargement and it went bad. So now like he's
all mutated.
Yeah. He tried to Neuralink his penis, and like now like he has babies, but he like artificially inseminates these women. Like he hits up like very smart ladies and is like, let's have a baby, because he believes in like this like. Eugenics of like technocrats. So he tried to technocrat open his penis and make it bigger, and it got fucked up somehow.
Where did you hear about this?
Dude, I'm on the deepest, darkest places on the internet.
That is crazy.
I'm on some CIA
shit in the world.
I mean, in my opinion, this explains like so much.
It explains a lot. Like I have a bit about like how like the David and Goliath thing. Like David killing Goliath is only because he had a tiny penis. You know, like I've sympathized with Goliath. He was just a big dick dude walking around. Everyone was mad at for some reason.
As a homegirl on the outside, like Mario has to be working with something, because he. Not saying he has nothing, but he doesn't have like the nicest car that runs the furthest, and he does, his sandals are very, very dirty. He's wearing socks with him too. Like he doesn't, he has roommates and stuff, a lot of roommates, and sometimes he lives in the alleys of these places. Like he doesn't have much to offer, to give, but these ladies, they're still flocking to him. Like he has no issue getting a girlfriend. It seems like, and like girls, they don't stay for just nothing, they don't stay for just nothing. So I feel like he has to be working with something respectfully.
Two things. First, I'm going to say the obvious, and then I'm going to say the nice things. But first thing, women stay with nothing all the time. You are broken creatures generally.
Yeah.
Well, normally
Mark
it's because
Small,
they have good.
No.
Have you heard that Mark Small bit that he just did? He was like, my girlfriend's way hotter than me.
Yeah.
And then we walk into the place and people are like, oh, how'd you get her? And they never think that like.
No, they always think it's either because I got a big dick or I'm rich.
Right.
But
it's like a third thing. She's super fucked up.
She had a terrible relationship with her dad.
Yeah.
But also I think Mario is a classic artist. And you party hard, you're super fun, but then in these quiet moments, you must be a sensitive man.
Well, I do like taking girls out to dinners.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
I love taking girls out to like me and my lady. We go eat good.
Yeah.
Like once every paycheck, usually.
Yeah.
And then I pay for everything. You know what I mean? I've always been like that. I don't like those dudes that like I split like. Now, like if it was up to me, like my girlfriend would never have a job.
Yeah.
She would never like a work husband is because you're broke, bro. Like if you really want your girl to not talk to nobody, you gonna keep her in the home.
That's very respectable.
Pay for everything.
Respectable.
Yeah, that's very respectable. Keep her at home.
No, but like seriously, like you know, I try to like I think there's a lot more like because you're right. Like I mean I've pretty much been homeless most of my adulthood, and like but it's like you know we have fun, we have a good time, we're taking them to nice places.
Yeah, not saying you can't give like nothing, but you're a giver. You give what you have, but like you're not, and you are on your way there. We all are on our way there to like you're not at the height of your career yet. I feel like you're honestly like we're all barely like for real getting up off the ground at this point in our lives.
And
like,
I think that's what like women respect too, is like that I do work hard.
You have motion.
I mean?
You have motion.
Yeah.
He has motion.
And
he's not a bum.
And you're obviously ambitious in all those ways too. That's the main thing I think too. If someone can see that you love a thing and you're working hard to achieve the thing, that means more because most people do not live like that.
And it's important to have a partner that's like supports that too, you know, that like pushes you to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
yeah, that's
so
a,
like
that's
good for you that your girlfriend is an artist as well, because she probably gets the like the late nights and having to grind and having to make sacrifices.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely. Because most of the previous relationships I had during stand up have been very like they're all regular people, so they're like, "What do you mean you're going to a bar on a Tuesday at 12?" You know what I mean? It's like, well, I'm trying to get a third spot in because I kind of bombed before, you know, and like, you know, it's like a. Because that part of me, it kind of matters to me more than anything, is being like a good stand-up, you know. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for coming on, Mario.
Yeah, thank you.
Idiots United play at least once a month at the Chatterbox, typically. By the time you see this, they would have played on Friday. But check out their show. I think it's great. Mario's fantastic. Sorry you had to headline that day. Ice started really busting heads.
Dude, that was really fun. That was a good mental exercise of like, you know, trying to give a little message with the comedy, you know, because what are you going to do? You know, people are getting kidnapped, you know, but
yeah.
I just did all my Israel jokes.
There's always the Jews.
There's always the Jews, you know?
Thank you again. Where can we find you online, Mario?
Online, Mario Rodriguez doesn't exist on Instagram, and then I have a YouTube page. It's Mario Rodriguez Stand Up if you want to do it. There's pretty much nothing on there, but there will be stuff coming.
And then you have a podcast with Josh Benjamin.
I have a podcast with Josh Benjamin called The Wide Pod, WYD. Super fun to shoot. We're trying to make something pretty, so I hope you guys enjoy that too. Yeah.
And Stevona, where can we find you?
YouTube, Stevona's house. I haven't uploaded a video in 3 months, but I'm going to Palm Springs to headline tomorrow, so I will be vlogging because I'm gonna be with all my friends and Daisy, who got put on the show too. So subscribe.
Is she not your friend?
Yeah.
All my friends and Daisy.
But Daisy's performing. That's
all my friends are going to be there,
perform.
and then Daisy's there.
Daisy's going to perform. So I'm going to be uploading on there soon. Instagram, Stevona Delgado. TikTok, Stevona.
And you can find me at Hernia on Instagram. Please follow us on Instagram.
And subscribe.
Straight Up with Stevona. Steve and Stevona. Subscribe. We're going to close in on these 100 very soon, and then we're going to do a live stream here. Have people here maybe, too. I just thought about that when we recorded. Imagine 6 or 7 people watching us drinking.
That'll be hilarious.
Stevona deep in claws.
Oh, man. It'll be wild if I do that.
Yeah, that would be sick as come just to watch.
Thank you. Please keep sharing our videos. Keep telling your friends. We love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Yay.